The Congress party has witnessed a major drubbing in the 2022 state elections, losing in all 5 states that were up for polls. The party was voted out of power in Punjab, and it was the main opposition in Uttarakhand, Goa and Manipur, but failed to win any of these states. And in Uttar Pradesh, the campaign led by Priyanka Gandhi Vadra yielded nothing for the party. The party presently remains in power only in 2 states by itself, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. The party is in power in Maharashtra, Jharkhand and Tamil Nadu, but only as a junior alliance partner. The loss will effectively weaken the Congress's attempt at presenting itself as a reliable alternate in the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. But more urgently, the results will also impact the internal dynamics of the party, with the underlying resentment against the top leadership likely to only grow stronger. Remember, these election results come at a time when several within the party have been calling for internal elections for the post of the party president as well as for the Congress Working Committee or the CWC. But the party high command has been delaying them for nearly 2 years now. Now let's go state by state and try and understand what are the reasons behind the Congress's loss in each place. Number 1, Punjab. The Aam Aadmi Party is leading in over 90 seats in the 117-member assembly and is expected to win many of these seats. This is by every measure a historic victory for the party. On the other hand, the Congress has been reduced to 19 seats. For a party that came to power with a comfortable majority in 2017 of 77 seats, this is a clear vote against the Congress, where many of its loyal supporters have also turned against it. There was a strong mood of change on the ground in Punjab. This was a consequence of growing fatigue among the masses over all the traditional parties failing to address their issues of drug abuse, unemployment and farmers' woes. More specifically for Congress, the former Chief Minister Amrinder Singh's tenure was characterized by mediocre governance. Contesting as an ally of the BJP, he has lost his own seat to the Aam Aadmi Party. The appointment of Charanjit Singh Channi, a Dalit face, was termed as a masterstroke. But while he did have some appeal among the masses, there was very little time for the party to actually get its act together. Number 2, Uttar Pradesh. As per the current projections, the Congress party is looking at a result even worse than its 2017 performance in Uttar Pradesh. The party would have expected to significantly improve on its previous performance when it won 7 seats in 2017, given how it has been comparatively much more active in campaigning on the ground this time around. Priyanka Gandhi, the Congress's General Secretary in charge for Uttar Pradesh, had led much of this campaign in the state, shouldering the Ladki Hoon, Lad Sakti Hoon campaign. The party gave 40% of the tickets to women, a move that was lauded but also seen as being merely symbolic. Another pitch of the party was its outreach to marginalized communities, and Priyanka Gandhi took several visits to families of the victims of the Hathras rape and murder in 2020, the anti-CA killings, as well as the Sonbhadra massacre of 2019, along with several others. But these visits, while good for political optics and signalling, did not have any impact whatsoever on improving the organizational rigor of the party. The spate of exits from the Congress in the state also weakened the party workers' resolve, from Jitin Prasad and RPN Singh and Naresh Saini moving to BJP to Imran Masood shifting to the SP. The party needs to make it a point to do consistent ground politics over the next 5 years and fix the morale of its party cadre in Uttar Pradesh. Number 3, Uttarakhand. Of the 70 seats in the Uttarakhand Assembly, the BJP is heading towards a stable majority. Now, this has come as a big shocker to many, as even the exit polls had largely predicted a hung verdict in the state, with some even giving a slight edge to the Congress. The Congress had hoped to capitalize on the BJP's own confusion, that has changed 3 of its CMs in a span of 4 months. Trivendra Singh Rawat was replaced with Tirath Singh Rawat, who was then replaced with sitting CM Pushkar Dhami. But the Congress's own house wasn't in order either. Congress's poster face in Uttarakhand was former Chief Minister Harish Rawat, who has failed to win from the Lalkaun seat. In 2017, Rawat had contested from two seats, Haridwar Rural and Kicha, and had lost both at the time. However, there was still some popularity that the leader did enjoy, but got very little time in the state ahead of the polls. The leader was embroiled in Punjab for at least a year before the polls as the state's Congress in charge, as part of which he spent most of his time resolving the Sidhu, Captain and Channi infighting. After that, when the leader finally began dedicating time to the Uttarakhand campaign, he had hoped to get a ticket from Ramnagar constituency. But just ahead of the elections, he was asked to contest from Lalkaun, a constituency completely unfamiliar to him. All of these things indicate a clear lack of coordination and strategizing in the Congress's ranks in Uttarakhand. Let's go to state number 4, which the Congress has lost, Goa. Much like Uttarakhand, Congress losing Goa was also not expected, at least not to the extent that they seem to be trailing. BJP is leading in 20 seats, while the Congress is leading in 12 of the 40-member Goa Assembly. This is a big loss for the party, as it did win a mandate from the people of Goa in 2017, but was unable to keep up the momentum, losing popular support among the masses. The BJP had gotten weakened in the state ever since the death of former Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar, a sentiment echoed by former BJP Minister Michael Lobo. Lobo then quit the BJP and had joined the Congress just last month along with his wife. The Lobo factor was expected to work in the Congress's favor, but it did not. The Congress also did not have a CM face in the state, unlike the other contenders. Goa's election is known to be very personality centric, and so a lack of face on the ground may have acted against it. And finally, Manipur. The Congress is lagging far behind the BJP in the state. While the Congress was never expected to do too well in Manipur, it had gotten 28 seats in 2017 assembly elections, so this election seems a further erosion of its voter base in the state. Manipur, Uttarakhand and Goa will be seen as the Congress's weakness in direct contests with the BJP, and Punjab will be seen as its vulnerability in front of regional players.